How's everybody today? Now, I got the old skidder warming up. First thing I want to point out is my landing's right there behind me. Oh, 50 feet or better. So, there's this beautiful tree here. Little limmy, but he's done well. And he's still in good shape. We're gonna take him out. Now, if we look around, there's a lot of small regrowth trying to shoot up. So what he's doing is taking a lot of the light. So now we can pop him out of here, but hopefully out busting up too much. And that'll open this hole up for a lot of light to come down through. And that'll really help out these smaller trees and anything trying to grow. And that'll open this area up so stuff like this, and he's not super cute or nothing, but stuff like that can get some sun. We're better off having multiple small trees growing than we are this one big one taking up all the space. Now, I'm doing a lot of talking in this video, just because I am kind of passionate about what I am doing. This is just how I junk my logs. Might not be the right or wrong way for what you are doing, but this is how I junk mine. I get paid out by the tallied thousand when I'm taking it to this mill, so I can take stuff that you might not be able to take if you were being paid by the ton. So I'm just going to drop a few trees here. Then I'll get on showing you how I junk my logs. And also I got choker not big enough. I show how I make my choker go around a tree that's too big for it. So yeah, stick around. So the perfect opportunity to show what I had shown in the last video on that trick. In behind the tree, down behind. Now I just moved that obviously because it drug into it. I still gotta drag it out and limb the top. So, let's sit you right here, maybe you can watch the magic happen. Probably get next fool with me. With this one, as you can see, nice looking tree. There's our landing, quite close. We'll skid out through, probably out through there. A lot of small growth trying to come through. So we'll take him and we're going to drop him down in through there. So hopefully we don't bust up too much of our nice young spruce that's growing. So we'll try to put him more towards that hardwood. There is some fir, which fir is a big deal. We want to keep the spruce intact though, so we'll drop that down kind of in the hardwood and against that other spruce in there. He'll probably come out too before I'm done. He's got a top going on him, so he's ready to go. What we're left with here is a strip. You can hardly tell a tree went down through there. So I start my cables out on the far side on both of them. That's because I got this here in the way. Typically when you're pulling, if you got the cable on the other side, it'll kind of pull the tree. This will pull towards you, but it'll kind of pull off the side just a hair. So I know that's here, so I'll do some preventative thinking or maintenance or whatever and make sure that goes kind of that way a little. If it does come close, it'll run out by it anyway. top starting to go out of it. Oh, didn't you look at that? So hopefully we can junk her off probably a couple feet above that and maybe still get some good logs in there. And his brother there, he's ready to go too. They're both big trees, tops are starting to come out of them. So that means it's time to get them cut. I think this is yeah, maybe there's the center. I don't know if you noticed that, you can see it rocking the head and sitting back. Oh. That wasn't too bad. You can see it's double cabled. That's because my choker's not long enough to go around that. If people are interested, I can kind of show you what's going on there. So, here's what's going on with my double wrap chokers. I got a choker or a slide and a slide with two chokers on it. Then the one goes down around and it comes back up here. If you can see that sunlight there. It comes back to here. And there's actually the bell from that choker. Here, I'll take the tension out of it. What happened is, too big a tree for these chokers. I used to use this. It smashed in two, and then I used to use the ball on the end of the cable. But as you can see, that's unhealthy now too. What I do is I run one choker around the tree, one the other way, hook them together to the end. I mean, it did kink that a little, but you get yanking and pulling, that straightens a lot of that stuff back too. Then it used this short piece here. When it pulled, it would pull this end in and tighten up against this one. And that actually is what choked your tree. So I'm just going there. Alright, so how I junk my logs, I junk them for a local guy. Here anyway, they go over there, so that's paid by the 1,000 feet. So it's a little different than if you're selling it by the ton. Now, well, you might as well come with me. Things I look for right off the bat, well, would be, well, holes like that. Obviously that's going to be junked off probably a couple feet past. Hopefully it's cleared. But another thing is, I see some rod under there. Now you could go up that probably, maybe 3 feet, might get rid of it, might stay in it. But I won't junk that off, because there's still a lot of good wood all the way around that. But I will make that, well, as you can see, there's a crook. I don't know if you can tell where my finger really is pointing, but there's a crook there. So I'd probably take about 12 feet off of that, possibly 14. What that'll do is give me some 14-foot boards here, or possibly whatever he mills out, but most likely boards. Then once he works his way into the center where all this garbage is, he can trim that. So that 14-foot might turn into a 12-foot when he trims a ways back in that tree. Say that one is pretty junky. Yeah, so when he trims that, he might get 12-foot boards, or it could be 10-foot boards. But if I say, oh, I'm gonna make that an 8, then of course, if you made that an 8-footer when he trimmed it, he'd be below 8 feet, which you don't want to be. Yeah, this one's pretty good, really, pretty straight, and it carries itself fairly well. And it actually carries again. But now when you're junking logs, you want to look to your end of your log what you think you're going to junk, and then look past. Because just past that, does it take a big drop, a small drop? Because if it took a big drop after you junk it, let's say at your 14-foot mark, which is in here somewhere, as you can see, that carries itself pretty well. If it took a big drop here, up about 16 foot, I might junk the I might junk the 16-footer off. That way my next log is actually going to be smaller down and on a shorter, if that makes any sense. So if it was a big drop on the next log, I could always extend my first log to compensate for the drop. Now I'm not talking like big drop at the end, I'm just talking like big drop at that set point within a few feet. The other thing I always do is I always trim them stubs off the tree. It makes a clean job. When you're working in the woods, your job, how good of a job you do, clean, and all that is what matters. That's what kind of gives you a name. If you're doing poor work, well, kind of gives you a poor name in a way. Now, another big thing I look for when I'm junking, of course that's fairly straight to there, but I'll measure that. See, that's why I like a tape measure. I use a tape, Husky tape, and I like using that because I can hook it on the end of that log and I can walk out to here. That'll tell me what I can get out of that stick of wood, whether it be an 8 off that end, a 10 off here, or a 12 here and an 8 there, or a 12 there and an 8 here. Either or, wherever your crook might be in that wood. But this is really what I look for here. Stuff like that. So when I go to junk that, it's pretty good stick. It comes back to here and turns, well, it's got a spot there, a spot actually under it, and a spot here. So I'll take and I'll junk it off up here. Unfortunately, it is quite a mess. But those 3 spots combined, when he's running that through the mill, he can skin this side off, get rid of a lot of that. Hopefully it's not too deep in the tree, and it still leaves you with the other side of this log can still be made to the boards, or right, yeah, so it's still usable on this side if that hasn't gone too far. So you always, if you're coming to a spot like that, you wouldn't want to take and come to here and junk off an 8-foot. Then say, oh, I'm going to put a 10-footer here. because then you come out past, let's say, to here. Then you have that in the middle. So every sideboard they're milling off, or if you're milling for yourself, every sideboard you're milling off, you got that in the middle of it. Versus if you got that on the long section of it, yet again with the rot in the butt of that one, you can actually just trim off the end, and it would still, like I say, that one here, if I was to cut it past, you just would trim back, and then you'd have that still that full sideboard up to there, but you'd lose, of course, this short section on your trim, but you still have a full board on your other side. Hopefully the camera's not too shaky, because I know it takes quite a wide picture, and I'm swinging it around here. Yeah, that's basically what I look for, and of course bends and crooks. Now you see I touched that with the saw, just curiosity's sake of how that looks, but that's probably junk. So this whole top is probably garbage. This whole top. I'll probably junk it off back here now, go for a stick of firewood. There very well could be good wood on it, but since it has one there and one on that side, there's very little in that that's going to make up something decent. You can see grown over chews in that one. Well, it might not be, but it's more than likely is a chew mark that's been grown over. So that's what I look for when I junk my logs. That way I can get my best stick of wood out of my logs. And that's not necessarily the right way to do it, but that is the way that I personally do it. And if anybody has any comments or anything, don't forget to leave them at the bottom there. I appreciate you watching.